Refreshing can be such a pain, and oftentimes it just makes your curls look worse. You should not have to completely soak your hair down with water and restyle every single day. In this video, I share an easy refresh routine that is simplified for beginners, or if you just want to reduce the amount of time and effort spent in between wash days. And you won't want to miss step number 4 because it is game changing if you struggle with stringy, frizzy curls after you refresh. My name is Gina and welcome back to my channel. Here we talk all things naturally curly. I love simplifying things and really helping you problem solve with your curls. So let's get started. The first step is to assess your hair's current needs. This will help you figure out if you should even refresh your hair, if you should just wash your hair, or what products you should use to refresh depending on your hair's current needs. If you just have some normal frizz, then skip refreshing or refresh with just some water. And when I say water, I mean a small amount, like just wetting your hands and picking up some frizzy curls and smoothing over them. If you have a lot of frizz, which is what I would consider my hair to be today for my hair's normal look, I don't normally have this much frizz, I would want to do a light refresh with both water and gel, and I'm going to show you how to do that in just a moment. So I'm currently on day 3, but I wanted to show you what my hair looked like yesterday on day 2. So here's what my hair looked like on day 2. I wasn't going anywhere. It didn't look that bad, so I didn't do anything to it. I just left this hair as is. It's much healthier to just leave your hair alone, so that way it's less manipulation and it's less of that wetting and drying. Now, I definitely had a little bit more frizz than I usually do, and we'll talk about why that is. But if I don't refresh this, it's not going to last. So if I do refresh this, I'm going to get probably another day out of my hair. The hardest thing with curly hair is to let go of that perfection. Some of us just have to embrace that it's going to look different every single day, and you don't always have to fix or touch up frizz. Another important thing to understand is that if your hair is damaged, it will get better in time as your hair gets healthier. Before we start refreshing, we have to talk about what you do before your refresh day. The longevity of your curls has everything to do with what you do on wash day. I actually made this chart that I will put up right here. It basically shows you all of the factors that contribute to longer lasting curls. The longer your curls last, the less you have to refresh. So it's really all about what we do on wash day and the products that we use. You want to avoid soaking your hair down. I love having a spray bottle on hand so that way I can just mist it, but a lot of times I just do this over the sink and I just wet my hands. Soaking your hair down not only is not great for the hair because it puts a lot of stress on the hair, but it also is just really time consuming. The more you wet your hair, you're going to have to dry it more, and you're gonna have to restyle. We really want to avoid soaking it. That way we don't have to completely restyle the curl. So I like the way my curl shape and curl clumps look. I really just wanna tame frizz. So what I'm going to do to refresh is add some water and a little bit of gel to try and tame the frizz that I have, but I don't need to restyle like with a brush and do a bunch of finger coiling. I'm just wetting my hands, and I'm also gonna go in with a little bit of the same gel I used on wash day. This is the new Olaplex number 10 gel. I'm gonna talk all about this gel in just a moment when we talk about products, but I want to start refreshing as we go through the next couple of things. Soaking your hair down and restyling is something that I talk to my coaching clients about all the time. So many people struggle with this, and a lot of people will just come to me and say, it's just my hair just doesn't last, I just have to restyle every day. But unless if you have a scalp condition or you work a job where you need to wash your hair every day, or maybe you get really sweaty with the workouts you do, you don't have to restyle or wash every day. I'm not saying that everyone needs to wash their hair less frequently. Definitely some people do need to wash more frequently, like the cases I just mentioned. What I'm talking about though is completely wetting your hair down to restyle it just because you don't like how it looks, or because you have a lot of frizz, or you feel like you need to redefine your curls. That is something that can be fixed. So it's not just your hair. I can help you get better results and help you get longer lasting results by tweaking what you're doing on wash day. So I would love to talk to you about that in a coaching session if you feel like you're just someone who has to completely soak your hair down every day to restyle, and it's not because of a scalp issue, that it's more so you just don't like how it looks. That is definitely something I can help you with. So I will have details down below if you are interested in that, because we really have to go back and forth and talk about your routine to get to the bottom of what is contributing to that, because a lot of times it is something that you're doing on wash day. On wash day, I use the Olaplex number 10 Bond Shaper Curl Defining Gel. This is the new gel from Olaplex. I've been testing it out a couple different ways. I actually used their number 9 and then the number 10. This is a serum that protects from heat and gives lightweight moisture. and then this is the gel. So you don't want to use something like this to refresh if you have frizz. So that's why I'm not using the serum or a leave-in, because that's not going to tame frizz. That's going to add a little bit of moisture and maybe reset the curl shape a little bit because there is water in it. But using a gel is what's going to tame frizz. Usually I like to just refresh with water and not add more gel, but because this gel was a light to medium hold for me, I ended up with more frizz than usual, and I feel like I need to add more. Whereas when I use stronger hold gels, I can just use water and I don't have to add any more product. That cast will come back. So how do you pick a gel that's going to last a lot longer for you? So there are some things you can look for when it comes to ingredients, but just as a general rule of thumb, if your hair is getting frizzy right after you scrunch out the cast, so on wash day, you do your routine and you diffuse, and then it frizzes up as soon as you break the cast, or it gets frizzy by the end of the day, then it's probably not a strong enough hold product. That would indicate more of a light hold product, and lighter and medium hold products are still good. They're just going to require more refreshing. So if you're wanting to do less refreshing, you need more hold on wash day. There's a couple of ingredients that I like to look for, one of them being polyquaternium. So this creates a film or a barrier on the hair. It still is moisturizing and conditioning, and it helps the hair just last longer, especially when it comes to humidity. So I usually look for gels that have multiple polyquat ingredients. I notice those are the longest lasting in my hair and require the least amount of refreshing. This gel actually only has one polyquat, and it's more of a conditioning polyquat, and it's towards the middle of the list, so it's not at super high concentration, which is probably why this gave me more of a light to medium hold, not a strong hold. It does have polyamide in it, which is the main holding ingredient, but it comes after a bunch of moisturizing ingredients. So when analyzing the ingredients list, there's a lot of moisture before the holding ingredient in here. People who live in a dry climate, they might like some of those film-forming humectants because they can help the hair actually retain moisture longer. So that's ingredients like aloe, flaxseed. Those are gonna help condition the hair and help to create like more of a flexible film on the hair, because in dry climates, the hair can get kind of brittle. So I won't go too into depth with ingredients, but I did wanna cover that because it has everything to do with the gel that you used on wash day. And if you didn't use a gel, then that's probably part of your problem of why your hair is not lasting. As I mentioned, this didn't give me that much hold, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend this as a gel that's going to last super long. So I will link you to some other ones that make it easy to refresh on the blog post that goes with this video, and that will be linked in the description box down below. Some other things to look for in products real quick is products that provide slip if you do want an easier refresh. So slip is that slippery, soft feeling in your hair that helps you detangle. So if your hair gets very tangly on wash day, you might want a gel that has slip in it. This actually does really good at that. It has a more slippery feeling to it, a very soft conditioning feel in the formula. It feels nice. It doesn't feel super sticky or thick. My hair is barely even wet. It's actually already starting to air dry just from talking. It's only been a couple of minutes, and it only takes me usually 5 to 10 minutes max to refresh. So as I go through this section, I'm going to explain the refreshing technique and how I'm refreshing. The third step, which I've basically already been doing, is to redefine curls as needed to tame frizz, or if you need to reshape any of the curls, you can do that with some refreshing techniques. So I recommend having water in your hands and then some of your gel on your hands as well when you do this. But what I'm doing is basically just picking up a frizzy curl and then smoothing over it. I'm not doing a bunch of scrunching. That's gonna create frizz. What we wanna focus on to tame frizz is smoothing. So I'm literally just mashing that gel into that curl clump, and look how it's already smoothed out. See how much better that looks? That is kind of tucking in the frizz, putting everything back into its curl clump, kind of finger coil, because the scrunching is what causes a lot of frizz. It makes the hairs pop out of the curl clump. So finger coiling is just where you have water and gel on your hands, or just water, and you just smooth over the curl. A lot of times I will do a whole section at once. So when I'm in a hurry and I'm not being too precise about it, I will pick up a whole section like this and just smooth over it. And when I feel these little tangles and knots in the hair, I will press my fingers into the clump to sort of comb through it without raking through the hair. So it's hard to describe, but what we don't want to do is brush through our hair from root to tip. That's too much manipulation. We don't want to be doing all that detangling on refresh day, but I will detangle within a curl clump. So for example, if you get tangles underneath like I do, like the clumps are still there, it's actually too clumped, I need to separate them. I will just kind of smooth over it like this. I will put my hands into it, so kind of like your finger combing without using a brush, and I will remove the loose hairs and the tangles that way. And then scrunch, and the curl should come back. Having a product with slip in it is really what's making a difference here. It would be hard to do this if I was using a thick sticky gel. I would have to probably add a little bit of leave-in mixed with water. So again, picking up the frizzy curl and then smoothing over it. And a lot of times it's just tangled up with another curl next to it, and that's what's causing frizz, especially right at the root. So I'm gonna pick up that whole section right there. And then here I am smoothing. So I'm doing that rake and shake method. I don't know if you've seen that, but that's where you use your hands instead of a brush to clump the hair. So you do go into the hair. That's like smoothing it out without using a brush. And then you can shake it to get the curls to come out. I like to finger coil. And I'm only doing that on areas that need smoothing. I'm not like raking through all of my hair. Like I mentioned, we don't want to do that. And this is a lot more even than I normally need to do. When I use a stronger hold gel, I don't have to go like all over my head. I do more of a curl by curl refresh, especially those areas that have a lot of short hairs. I'm just focused on smoothing them out. And I'm smoothing right at the root because that's what's causing a lot of that halo frizz. And instead of scrunching, just gonna do some light finger coiling. I also wanted to show you how you can tame a lot of the halo frizz that happens. I like to just wet my hands down. And if you use a strong hold gel and wash day, you can just use water, but I'm gonna add a little bit more of the Olaplex gel, barely a pea size amount, rub it together in my palms, and I'm just going to smooth over it. And that hair up there is basically dry, so this is gonna really give it some extra hold. Just smoothing it down, tucking it in. I wanted to show you one more tip if you're struggling with a lot of stringy frizz on a refresh day. Wet down your hands. You can also add a little bit of gel, and you can do some of the praying hands technique, which is just where you're basically leaning to the side and then mashing the hair between the palms, and that's gonna help kind of clump it together. But another huge cause of stringiness is air drying after you refresh. So the next step is to diffuse. I just wanted to show you a difference. So this side is basically already air dried from where I was talking. And a lot of times I will end up with a little bit of stringiness happening from the hair that was wet, ends up drying more elongated. So air drying results in more elongated curls, whereas diffusing will help to just shrink everything back up. So if you're struggling with a lot of stringiness and uneven curls after you refresh, or if your curls are not lasting after you refresh, you might want to try diffusing instead of air drying. So I'm going to show you the difference on this side and go ahead and diffuse just this side, and then we'll compare it with this one. This one actually doesn't look too bad. Normally my hair is like super stringy when I air dry. So this side is now dry, maybe just a little bit still damp, but I wanted to go ahead and show you. This side is a little bit more shrunk up. I have more of a cast, and it's just overall more even and less stringy. Whereas this side is a little bit more elongated. It still looks fine. You can definitely still air dry after refreshing, but if you used a little bit more water, if you did a little bit more of a wet refresh, you're definitely going to have to diffuse if you want your curls to be more even. Now, it shouldn't take any more than 5 minutes to diffuse on a refresh day because your hair shouldn't be soaked. It should only take a couple of minutes. You could even diffuse for like 30 seconds just to kind of set the shape, and then finish air drying if you have to run. Now my hair is dry. That only took a couple of minutes. Now I'm gonna go in and scrunch out the cast. If you want a softer look and you don't like that crunchy look, you can definitely scrunch it out to soften it up and to get bigger hair and to fluff out the roots. If you want a more defined look that's going to last a lot longer, you can leave it in. It will gradually release throughout the day. With this gel, it's a medium to light hold, so I didn't get like a hard cast. It's more of a light cast in the hair. A stronger hold gel would have dried with a little bit more of a cast, but I'm still gonna scrunch it out. And I recommend waiting until your hair is dry. If you struggle with flat roots, definitely shake out your roots on a refresh day. It's going to really amp up the volume at the roots, so that way your hair is not stuck to your head. And you can even do this throughout the day if your hair starts to fall. So I'm just going in from underneath and shaking it out. You see the difference that makes? Much bigger. Now it is gonna fall naturally throughout the day, but it definitely helps. Another quick little tip, if you do spot some frizz that you want to tame just so it lasts a little bit longer, you can do that on dry hair. So I recommend just taking a little bit of your gel, add a little bit of water, and then you can just smooth over it. So I'm looking at this piece right here. Kind of sticking out. It looks fine. I'm not trying to perfect my hair, but this is definitely going to end up in even more frizz throughout the day, and then I'll just have a random frizzy piece that's sticking out. So I am going to fix it. Now that I'm done refreshing, let's compare the before and after. So it's definitely less clumped after I refreshed because I separated a lot of the large curl clumps to try and get more volume, and the hair tends to clump together too much throughout the day. So I separated some, I tamed some frizz, I got the cast back. As you can see, it looks more defined. This is gonna soften up more throughout the day, so by the end of today, it's probably gonna look a lot softer and less of that defined look, but hopefully it will still last longer because now the curls have that definition back. It has the cast back, so this will definitely get me through the day and into tomorrow, to where tomorrow I probably won't need to refresh, and then it will be time for wash day after that. So I'm really liking these refresh results. The gel made it pretty easy to refresh because it has slip in it, and it also has a good texture. It's not too thick or anything like that, so it's easy to refresh with, and it's moisturizing, so my hair is not dry. The only thing I wish is that it had a little bit more hold to it, so that way I wouldn't even have to refresh today. But with lighter hold products, you get more fullness and volume. You just have to do more touch-ups usually by day 3 or so. If you're feeling really frustrated with your curls and you're not able to get more life out of your curls and you've tried all of these tips, I would love to help you diagnose what is going wrong on wash day that's causing your curls to not last and you having to do so many refreshes and touch-ups the next day. Or maybe you need help finding the right styling product or the right gel to get you those better refresh results like we talked about. I can definitely help you find a better styling product for your hair specific needs. A recent curl coaching client of mine was struggling with this exact same thing, and she was using so many different products, and she said after we met she had a better understanding of her hair and she was able to figure out exactly what she was doing wrong in her routine, because a lot of times it could be something small that you just need to tweak on your wash day like we talked about, since that has all of the impact on how long your hair lasts and how it looks on next day hair. I've had so many clients say that they now love their refresh results, which is just so heartwarming because that's what I'm really here to do, to help you like your curls better and help you really be able to embrace your curls every day. So that way you're not having to put a ton of time and effort into fixing them and refreshing them and restyling every day. It really should be much more simple than that. So check the link in the description box if you are interested in signing up for my curl coaching program. If you're not sure if it's the right fit or if you just want to talk more about it, you can always send me a DM on Instagram with the word coaching and we can talk about if you're a good fit, if you need it, which type of session that you need, or you can always send me a DM on Facebook or email me if you need more help on deciding if a session is what you need to fix your curls. If you need more help with refreshing and want to hear 6 harsh truths about curly hair, check out the video that I will have linked for you right here on the screen. I talk about a lot of the harsh truths that a lot of us need to hear about our hair to better accept our curls and also to know what's normal and what's not. And I'm also doing a refresh routine in that, so you can see another refresh routine using different products. It's a very easy refresh as well. So I will talk to you over there. Bye everyone.